Hey folks, Mozzie Rob here. Well, my 2007 Cadillac XLR-V, I just replaced my rear shocks as shown in a previous video, and that installation went very well and the ride is great. But I now got this alarm coming up on my dash saying service ride control, and now my maximum speed cannot go over 80 miles an hour. I was like, what the heck is this? So these Cadillacs XLR-Vs are always challenging, so I always like a challenge. So doing some digging and researching and stuff, and I found out that since I used aftermarket shocks, this mag ride type shock that I use, the electronics might not be as compatible as they should be, and that's why the service ride control and this 80 miles an hour limitation is now on, because it locks the speed up so you can't go past that for stability of your suspension. So well, we just can't have that. So anyhow, doing some more research, I found these modules that are actually called shock simulators and also ride height simulators. I did purchase them from a place called American Muscle in Paoli, Pennsylvania, and this is supposed to be a plug-and-play installation that basically, once these are installed, they actually simulate the correct electronic signal that the ride shock should have, and it should clear this alarm up. So that saves a lot of time and money. You can just imagine what a dealer would cost to try to troubleshoot this, to try to fix this up right. And it's about 300 bucks for a set of 4. So anyhow, once I get these in, I will redo this video and give you an update. I'll see if these things actually worked out pretty good, but it's better than spending $1,000 trying to get this thing figured out at a dealer. So stay tuned. Hey folks, Mozzie Rob here. Well, I finally got these little shock and height simulators in from SDE Deletes, and this should take care of the problem I'm having since I used aftermarket shocks on the back of my Cadillac XLR-V 2007. I have a suspension alarm, and of course, and it says max speed is 80 miles an hour. So this is supposed to fool this and take care of it. So these right here are for the height simulators, which I'm not going to be installing right now. I'm just going to try something. I'm just going to try installing these. These are for the shocks that I replaced. So basically, I'm going to drop the shock out, remove the connector, which I'll show you, and then put these in, and then see if that takes care of the problem. If not, then I'll probably just have to go back and install these as well, because it came as a kit. But I'm thinking, since I just did the shocks and the ride height is still factory, I'm hoping that just installing these will solve the problem. So stand by. Okay guys, continue with this shock simulator installation. So what I did, I just removed the top 2 bolts of the rear shock, and I just loosened the bottom bolt and nut on the bottom of the shock, just so I can get a little bit of play. Of course, I got my jack underneath of it, and of course jack stands for safety precautions. And I lowered the lower control arm, which dropped the shock out, and then I was able to remove the connector using my screwdriver and then pull it out, as you'll see here. And this is where the simulator is going to get connected to. And then I'm going to strap it someplace safe where it's not going to move somewhere down around here somewhere. I'll let you know when I get that figured out. So let's get the one side installed, and we'll carry on. Okay, we got the connector out as we mentioned before, and the shock is now reinstalled. One thing to note though, because I guess the Cadillac XLR-V, this connection here, which went to the top of the shock, which this shock simulator here is going to go into, is actually smaller, so it really doesn't fit. But the kit that I ordered comes with this new wiring harness that is the right size. So basically, we're going to do a little cut, and we're going to tie this in here, and then that's going to allow us to connect to our new shock simulator. Stand by. So just as an added precaution, because I know these Cadillacs or XLR-Vs are very finicky when you're messing around with wiring, I just decided to disconnect the negative side of the battery to de-energize everything as I'm doing these splices and tie it in, and we'll connect that back up when everything is done. Okay, you see I got the new wiring harness tied in now to the existing wires. The wires that were on the wiring harness were black and green, and the wiring that was on the old harness was green and blue. So I just tied the black to the blue and the green to the green, and hopefully that should do it. And what I used is a 22 to 24 gauge buck connectors that are heat shrinked, so to help prevent moisture from getting into these connections. So Now it's time to install this thing and mount it up, and we'll get the other side going on. Okay, one side is done. So what I did is I used the existing clip to clip it on the housing of the shock, and then I just tie wrapped it to the wiring harness so it's out of the way, it's secure, less vibration here. So this side is done, and we're going to do the other side. I'm not going to record it, but we'll let you know when the finished product is done and see if it takes care of this alarm that I've been getting. Hey guys, Mozzie Rob here. Okay, we completed the other side and installing those shock simulators. And now the big test to see, we're going to start the car up and make sure that that service ride control and that maximum speed limit of 80 miles an hour, hopefully, prayerfully, is gone. Here we go. That is a good sign, because you can see your odometer. Looks like we are good. All right, we'll take it out for a little test drive, but I will say that stick a fork in her, baby. She's done. So if you like this video, please like the channel, and hopefully this will help everybody else with these Cadillac XLRs that, you know, when you change the shocks out, if it's not factory, I'll post after this what parts it is that you need to get for the shock and ride height simulators. But as I mentioned, I did not use the ride height simulators, I just did the shocks, and everything now is fine. No alarms. So I thank you so much. God bless, and have a wonderful day.